All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Force with Matt and Major. And this is Major, and I have with me, as always, Matt. And we have a very, very special guest, Caleb Daniels. He is one of our favorite players. If y'all have been listening to the podcast, we talk about him constantly, especially late in the season. So thank you, Caleb, for joining in, and we're excited to talk to you.
Man, thank y'all for having me. I'm excited as well.
Yeah. So first, what do you say to, people that are trying to get to know you? When they first ask about you, who is Caleb Daniels?
I guess what I would have to say is first and foremost, obviously I'm a child of God, very spiritual. Second thing is I'm a husband. It's my beautiful wife Mariah. I'm son of three. Two older brothers. I'm a baby, of course. Grew up with both my parents. I'm a really good kid. I work very hard. I treat people kindly, and I believe what you put in is what you get out in this world. So, yes, sir.
Yeah, I love it. I love how you start out with the most important things first, and then you trickle down. There's a little thing I always notice when I ask people what they say first is what is most important to them. So Matt, we talk about Caleb all the time. We talk about how he grew into this season. Just real quickly for our listeners, what do you think of Caleb Daniels as a basketball player? What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, you're to preface, what do we think there?
I mean, again, the work ethic, the physicality that he plays with on both ends of the floor. Him attacking the rim with such physicality. I mean, 6'4", but he plays like he's 6'11". Like he's really that physical presence. And then developing that 3-point shot that he's had, or that he showcased a lot in college, but now he developed it as the season went along. But I think the thing that stands out to me most is the physicality.
Yeah, for sure. We love all the Skyforce guys that get in and rebound.
Yeah, rebound, attack, defend at the point of attack, all that stuff. You just can't say enough about being physical, especially when you're within the Heat organization, and they pride themselves on being the hardest working, the most physical team on the floor at any given moment. And Caleb Daniels is one who exudes that, and I think that's really important to have when you're developing as a player. It's always good to have that trait to fall back on.
Yeah,
I appreciate that, Matt.
So now that I got Matt to pump up your ego, we're gonna start back at the roots here. So what kind of first got you into basketball? What's your basketball beginnings?
Honestly, I think my father, he always taught me ball at a young age. He liked to tell me that he put the ball in my hands at 2 years old, and since then it's been uphill since. So, but I think what really kept my interest in it was just watching my brothers play basketball, and kind of wanting to be like them growing up, but also completely better than them too. I think growing up with them was probably the most rewarding for me, because I get to see their paths before mine take off, and me to be able to learn from them and to see what I can do better when my time comes, and things like that. So I think honestly, just them always pushing me to be better. Sometimes that came in a form of tough love, but I mean, other instances was just me learning and sitting back. And it was like watching film, first row seats to whatever AAU game they had, high school game, middle school, whatever the case may be. But I think they were the real driving force behind me really wanting to stick with basketball and knowing my place with it.
Yeah, when did you first discover hey, this might be a thing I can really bank my future on? Not just professional basketball, but even going to college and getting an education through that way.
Wow, so that's a good question. And I was just talking to someone about this the other day. I honestly think that, I always had a good interest in basketball since I was little growing up, but it was never a thing that crossed my head like, I can really do this, for real. I can really be good. I can really go to college, then potentially get paid for doing what I love. I think that moment happened for me maybe my sophomore year of high school. I'm just blossoming into who I am. I'm getting cut up. I'm getting big. And I'm learning the game at a higher level than what I did when I was younger. So it's probably around the time when I really started dunking everything too. Like I couldn't not dunk. So it was just like around my sophomore year, I really was like, okay, if I can take this ball coast to coast and dunk on somebody and catch a lob and make an open three, maybe it's in my best interest to start taking it more serious. So I think around that time is when I was just like, I can go to college. And then I just got my first offer from University of New Orleans after that year. So I would definitely say that year.
How do you think playing 2 years at Tulane and then spending 4 years at Villanova, playing under Mike Dunleavy Sr., played under Jay Wright, you played under Cal Neptune, how did that prepare you for the next level when you transition from college to like professional basketball?
Well, I got the best of both worlds with both programs, which is a beautiful thing to have as your memory and in your back pocket. My 2 years at Tulane was really good for me individually and also to learn from Mike Dunleavy Sr. So he taught me a lot of the NBA sets, how to look for things, the different reads that I can make, how I can really set myself apart from everyone else that's my age or in my grade or in college in general, and how I can really, develop and make the pros. I think from a pro aspect, he taught me a lot and it helped me, and I still utilize those things today. And as you can see, like at Tulane, I played a whole lot more freer, more at peace of my game, and just making reads off that. I think that implemented a very good pro aspect in my head, like my first 2 years, which was really, really difficult to adjust to. You got a lot of other great guys on your team. Obviously, we didn't have the success that we wanted to have as a team, but I think individually I really grew and I developed the way I needed to. Now going to Villanova, it was like more of a wake-up call. And for those that went to Villanova know, especially that transfers in from a different school, they know. So I'm coming into Villanova, I'm just thinking, oh, I'm a pro. Like I've been working hard. I've been developing my game. I could score on all three levels. Nobody gonna be able to see me, especially at this level. I thought different as soon as the first day of practices happened, because you're going against guys that's like top Division I athletes, potential NBA draft picks every single day, dudes that really do this. And I wasn't really around that at Tulane. We were really a small school in the AAC conference, so it's rare that you see teams like that. The only two teams that would have maybe any draft picks was Houston, Memphis, and Cincinnati at the time I was there. But going to Villanova, obviously you have to kind of not switch your game up, but you have to take some things out of your game and sacrifice it for the betterment of the team. And that's all that I pretty much did going to Villanova. I like to say they took a lot of I don't want to say they took it, but I sacrificed a lot skillfully individually, but in the grand scheme of things, I was able to like learn all the intangibles, like playing hard every possession, diving on loose balls, diving on the floor, being tenacious for rebounding, crashing the glass, making the extra pass. I think learning those facets of the game is what really helped me. And like this year, there were some times where I was kind of struggling, but also I think the main things that I never lost was the things that I learned at Villanova. It's easy to get the things that you were taught before I got there, like, skill development things and whatnot that you can see. But I think the things that you can take with you every single game is what I learned at Villanova, and that's defending, rebounding, giving it your all for the full 40, 48 minutes that you out there or whatever time you're out there for. And really just learning how to, I don't want to say fit in, but how to dominate your role. And that's something that I had to learn at Villanova, being around a lot of great guys like Colin Gillespie, Jermaine Samuel, Sadiq Bey, Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Those guys are so good that when you have your role, you have to dominate it. Like you can't just show up to the party with no dish, no main dish, no side dish. You have to bring your portion, bring your role, and dominate it, because that's the only way the team will win. And this year, my first year with the Skyforce and in my pro career, I had to learn that. And being around guys like a walking 55-point bucket, Justin Champagny, a walking triple-double, Jamari Bouye, a walking triple-double, Malik Williams, a walking double-double. Those guys like that, I had to find my niche. And it took me some time to find it after the reset. And once I found it, it was smooth sailing from there. It was on the way up from there. So once I found it, it kind of helped the team, and it allowed me to be more of the anchor for the team. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So what's that like, for people that haven't experienced, like, unfortunately me, and Matt, what's it like getting like recruited, not only straight out of high school, but then through transfer?
I'll tell you what, in high school, I would say it was very it was fun. Like going on different visits, seeing what different college campuses had to offer. It was very exciting because you're new to it. You're getting all these different things, and plus for me, I couldn't wait to get out of my parents' house. I could not wait. So like me going these different schools and seeing different things was very exciting to me as a young guy. But my second year in college, once I put my name in a portal, bro, it was so exhausting. Like for me, I'm a type of guy, I had to learn how to keep it simple. And I'm very straight to the point. I'm blunt, especially with the recruiting process. Like I don't want to spend too much time trying to figure out what I want, going on these visits, especially as a second year guy, me being from a program where I've gotten what I've wanted individually and I've succeeded. But like I want more than myself. Like I want to be a part of a program and a team and a family environment. And that's what my parameters were going into the recruiting process. And Villanova had the best to offer that. So yeah, that was what it was like for me. Other people can speak differently. Other people find it exciting to be wanted and have all these schools, throwing offers to you. Nowadays, they're throwing money at you because you in NIL. So it's a wild market nowadays, but that's another topic for another day. But that's how my process went.
Was there like another school that was like close to like either Villanova or Tulane, like that you were really debating between?
Baylor. And I almost went there. They were my second home visit, right behind Villanova. I think they came maybe a week apart. And I was real tight with their assistant and their head coach too. But I just chose Villanova, just want to go on my visit, and I was just like, I feel like I've known those guys forever. So like this is where I want to be, No slight to Baylor, but we also lost to them in the Sweet 16, which is crazy. But it's all love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I have some beef with Villanova as a North Carolina fan. We don't talk about any tournament games that they played or may not have played. So, that's a little slight.
I feel bad for you.
I feel bad for myself too.
Transitioning into your pro career, something I'm always like fascinated by when it comes to once the draft rolls around, and then the pre-draft process, and then like obviously for you, unfortunately, like you figured out you were undrafted. How was the turnaround from like draft night into summer league? Because it's such a quick turnaround. You're playing with new teammates. You're trying to get used to a new scheme. Like how is that transition for you? Like right away.
I would say
a couple weeks of summer.
I would say as soon as our last game was done, which was we lost first round of NIT, so that maybe was like March 18th around that time. I had some time to take some time off to get away from basketball because my last year was a pretty stressful year, but it was also fun. But my body was kind of going through it, and I wanted to take a little break from basketball for a little minute. But once I got back to it, maybe it was around like March, maybe early April, and my pre-draft process started. I want to say April 14th, and from when I was flown from the place I was at to California, it was straight business from there to draft night. And every day, I think I want to say 2 to 3 times a day we're working out, weight room, skill development, shots, and that's like 5 days out the week. And then on the weekends, maybe if you want to get pickup or do conditioning, that's what we got. But it was week after week until I went to pro day in Chicago. I want to say that was like May 15th, May 14th. That was really fun. A lot of good teams came out to see us and, do our pro day and whatnot. We all got good feedback. And that's how I started generating my workouts from there. And pre-draft workouts are pretty competitive with all the teams that I've worked out for. So, yeah, and that's pretty much how my pre-draft process went. And until the night of 2 days before the NBA draft, I got a call from my agent saying that Miami wants to offer you an E10. And there's obviously other teams in the mix as well, but I really wanted to be in Miami. That's the one place that I always said throughout the pre-draft process, I really would love to be in Miami. I can see my game cultivating and developing over there. And also the way I play now fits that culture. So I would love to either be with their NBA team or their G League team and really develop and show them what I can do for them. So ended up working out. I got the E10 deal. And then went to Summer League with them. Didn't really play much, but I got to see a lot of things and got to learn a lot from the older guys and guys that were here last year and also the coaches. So I took those experiences into the summer where they, invited me to come up for summer workouts after Summer League until we go off for G League, go off to Sioux Falls type of thing. And it's been up since.
What's been the biggest adjustment for you from the college game into the NBA? Like, or to the G League? Is it like the spacing? Is it, since you're only playing a couple times a week, maybe once in college, to then playing every other day or every couple of days? Like, what I guess has been the biggest adjustment for you that you've had to, I guess, overcome since becoming a professional?
Well, like you just said, I think the amount of times we play per week is completely different from what we did in college. College is like we playing definitely 2 times a week. The other 3 or 4 days is hard practices, 3 hours a day, and then we got a game for those other 2 days. So it's like college is more of a weight, like you kind of licking your chops to get back out there if you lose or if you win. But in the NBA, it's like you lose by 10 tonight, you got another game tomorrow. You don't got to keep, waiting and pondering on that loss like, dang, what could I have done better, this and that. No, you got a game the next day. So you got to get your mind right. You got to get your mental ready and get your body ready, most importantly, too. So I think the turnaround is, a lot more hectic at times, but it can be rewarding too. But I will also say college is more, I would say it can be a little bit more demanding. But I think the NBA's, like the practices are more lenient. You have more skill development than a team development type of thing in college, where in college is what are we doing to help the team? NBA is the same thing, but it's more skill development. It's not as, for me, it wasn't as taxing on my body, but it's just more lenient. It's more smoother. It's besides the travel can be very crazy at times, but I would say the biggest difference is the turnaround.
Is there a specific coach that you like worked with the most at the Skyforce? I know like Bryson Warren, he mentioned a specific assistant coach that really helped him. Was there a guy like that for you?
I think all of them were really vital in my development this year, but I would give it to Darren Williams. He worked with me nonstop. Like I will always like pick his brain on what I can do better next time out to hit him up to watch film or to do skill development. Obviously, you see what I can do to fix my shot or to better my shot. And he would just give me different reads and different strategies and just help me out throughout the year. So a lot of my development and getting better throughout the year, I got to give it to him.
Yeah, and then there's something else you mentioned with like choosing Villanova and talking about their culture of like family. Um, is that similar at the Skyforce? I mean, the Skyforce has so much change this year with several guys getting NBA deals, and you have your two ways going up and down, and people getting traded. Is it a little bit harder to get that family sense, or is it just you make do?
That's a great question. I think that for one, I'm gonna just say this. For me, my first year to be on a team like that, I'm blessed. I think they set the tone for my pro career because from what I hear from other people, in this business, it's kind of hard to really get close to your teammates like that. But for us, like the group that we have, from the coaches to the players, we had a real family environment here, especially here in Sioux Falls. And like that's something that I'm like forever grateful for, that I can go to each team and just remember like this is how a team is and how it's supposed to be. So I want to say they definitely set the tone, but that's from my experience. I can't really speak from another team's perspective or whatnot, but I think I can speak for all guys on this team when I say this is a family environment and we all in the same group message. We still contact each other every day as if the season is still going on. So that's when you know it's real, and that's how you know we're family. So yeah, I'm just blessed, man. I'm blessed to have a team.
Yeah, so speaking of like the family and all y'all getting along real well, we had a question. Well, I really had a question that I really wanted to ask. So, who's the funniest player on the team, and then who's the least funniest player on the team?
Oh my gosh, I think everybody on the team is funny though. That's the crazy part. Everybody's crazy in their own way, but that's why we love each other. I say the funniest would be probably Man. Like what y'all see on the court, like him goofing around sometimes, he's the same way off the court. Like he is hilarious, always cracking jokes. He's like the life of the party. Like when things kind of like say we would just lose and whatnot, in the locker room, to be silent. He'll be the one to pick our team morale up at times. So I'll definitely go with Man as the funniest. The least funniest,
I'm trying to set you up here. Yeah.
trying to set me up. You definitely are. I hope they're not watching this right now. Wow. You know what? I'm not gonna say least funny. I'm gonna say the most serious.
There you go. That's
The
smart. Good
most
teammate right
serious.
there. There you go.
Wow. I still don't know. You know what? I'm gonna say JC Butler.
Okay.
He's like, I think we're all pretty funny guys, but I think he's like funny, but like not as funny as everyone else. Like he's more of the guy that starts laughing at everything type of thing. So I would say probably JC Butler. But he's a really good dude. He's funny. He's fun to be around actually, but I'll say he's the least funny.
Something I want to also ask was like, you guys are all, I don't know, in a big vehicle, or you guys are at practice. Who gets the aux cord?
Malik. It's either Malik. Oh, they're not gonna put me on the aux because I'm gonna play R&B music, man. Gotta relax the soul, so they're not gonna put me on there. Either Malik Williams, Brandon McCoy every now and then, or Jamal Kane. Probably those three. Oh, my bad. I'm leaving out Justin Champagne too. Yeah.
Who do you prefer on the aux?
To be honest, because some people they play the music that's respective to where they're from. That's not what I like, honestly. I'm more of a mainstream, go with the vibe type of dude. Everybody knows the song when we not trying to guess what the name of it is, or I'll probably say Malik, because Malik will play something that everybody know. He'll feel the vibe out, and it's never a miss. So I'll say Malik.
I'm kind of that same way you are. I'm always playing like the mainstream hits.
Yeah.
Do you have any some athletes are superstitious, some aren't. Are you a superstitious individual? And if so, do you have any quirky superstitions that you do either before a game or the day before a game? Are you like that? Do you have any of that kind of routine to your game?
Yeah, that's the crazy part. I think before every game, at least speaking this year, it's the first thing is a hydration. I got hydration suspicion. If I don't drink the same exact amount of water and Gatorade before a game, I could be off or I'm gonna just have a bad game, which that's inevitable. You'll have them regardless, but I gotta drink 3 bottles of water 3 hours ahead of the game and drink 2 Gatorades, maybe 2 Gatorades before a game. And I also gotta eat no Diddy. I gotta eat a pickle before a game so I don't cramp up out there. The dudes look at me in the locker room like I'm crazy. So that's my pregame routine. I can't help it. And then I go into the game and I'm feeling good that I'm not gonna cramp up because that's the worst thing that can happen to you out there.
Yeah, I don't know if I could drink that much fluids. That's probably more than I drink in a week. It's crazy. So what's your favorite thing to do on an off day?
On an off day, I would say, look, I love to eat. So wherever my wife taking me to eat, that's what we're gonna eat at. We're gonna have a good meal. We'll play Call of Duty together. We'll play that a lot, play online a lot together. So that spending time with the guys too. Probably going out to eat with them time to time. And yeah, that's pretty much it, honestly. I'm a simple dude, to be honest. Maybe shopping a little bit for clothes with wifey, but other than that, not much.
Are you shopping for your clothes or her clothes?
Both. Both.
On a little bit of a more serious note, what's the biggest improvement in your game, or what's the biggest improvement in your game that you want to, I guess, improve heading into the summer or next year? What's the, or I guess not biggest improvement, but the what's the skill that you want to improve most heading into this upcoming summer and then next season?
I think one thing that I really need to work on would be, I would say, decision making in tough situations. I think early on last year I kind of struggled with decision making. My turnover was I was turning the ball over crazy, but I was also scoring it, but can't score it and also turn the ball over. You got to keep making the right plays and be strong and be solid with the ball and be smart with the ball. I didn't think I was smart with the ball a lot of times, and I was kind of careless with it. And that was one of the main things that me and Theron and Kasib talked about throughout the year. I have to be better with the ball, and so I can be trusted with the ball. So throughout the year, I worked on it every single day, every off day. And lo and behold, I started getting better. I started getting more comfortable out there with the ball and just making the right play. That's the first thing. I would say the second thing is obviously being more consistent at the 3. I thought I shot the ball pretty solid this year, but I think like there's another level that I can take it to. Another level that I can be dependent on to make big shots and to step up for my team to knock it down in those moments when we really need them. So I think those two things are the top two things, but the third thing, and I think I already do this at a high level, but I can do it at another level, is defending. Overall, being solid, having good technique, being skilled in what I do, and really taking more pride in that. And I think once those three things happen, I think the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I think it's funny, like listening to you say that. Of my impression at the end of the year was like Caleb Daniels is always going to make the right play. He's not going to try to do too much. Like if it's an open shot, you're going to take it. You're not going to try to force too much. And then you said your 3-point shooting, like you're on a pretty big streak towards the end of the year of just making everything you shot. And then the defense was improved as Matt opened us up with. So it's like all three of those things that you're even talking about, like you can literally see it happening at the end of the season. So I think that's pretty cool. Like you get to see the results of what you're putting in, and like we notice it without even knowing that that's what you were, working the hardest on. So that was pretty cool to hear you say that. Like, and then we were talking about how you, towards the end of the year, filled this big role. Like so many people on the Skyforce, they were getting NBA deals or traded or, up the two ways we're up with the Heat a lot. What do you think allowed you to fulfill that role pretty seamlessly?
I would say I think first would be my teammates kind of like believing in me, putting that, I don't want to say pressure, but they were just putting it in my head like now it's time, like we need you. Like don't be down on yourself. Like you struggling right now, but let's go. We need you for the rest of this year. And also just me also being intentional about the work that I put in. It's not even talking about games, like even before the game. Being intentional about what I need to get better at, being mindful of that, and letting it translate to the game. Because I feel like a lot of the things that I can control, I wasn't doing in the early part of the reset. But once I started doing those things, everything started happening for me seamlessly and more often. So once those guys, they were getting their deals and the two ways were up with the main team because of guys being injured and whatnot, it was like those things kept happening more and more often. And I was just allowed to just step into those seamlessly without feeling any pressure because I've been doing this. I've been working on this. So it's like, why not let it show? My teammates believe in me. My coaches believe in me because they keep putting me out there too. So it's like, why not let it show and help the team? I think thinking about it from a team aspect as well took the pressure off me having a focus on me making a open three that we really need to tie the game up or to take the lead or making the right play. I feel like honestly as well, making the right play was just helped me fit in seamlessly because I work on those things in practice. I work on those things in my off days. So it's going to translate. Probably not this game, maybe next game. And that was just my mindset coming into every night, coming in with what I can control, and letting everything else be.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty cool because a lot of times people, they get thrown into a big role, for lack of a better term, and they're not prepared for it. You looked like you're like, all right, I've been waiting for this my whole life. Like I'm ready to show. And from everything you've said, seems like Villanova, how they prepared you for this was almost perfect. So that was a great recruiting pitch for Villanova's culture there. Of it's important to look for things that prepare you for the next level. And like you said, learning how to basically be on a team and sacrifice and do that role needed. We talk a lot about the podcast of when NBA teams and professional teams are looking at players, they're not just looking to get the greatest scores and everything. They're looking for the best team. And you have shown through the whole year of you had a lot more to give than you were able to at the beginning of the year, but you were just doing the role. And then it's not like you sat there and complained and like, oh, they're not going to let me do this, so I'm not going to work on it. But you kept working on it. And then whenever you were able, you got those minutes because of guys leaving or whatnot, you were able to fulfill that role. So that's pretty cool to hear that, you stuck with it, even though like you weren't getting that satisfaction right away. And you knew, hey, the team will need this at some point, and you were preparing for it all along.
For sure. And that's really what it's about, honestly. That's what being a pro is, staying ready for your moments and making the most out of them. So I think Kasib and the staff are just giving me, those opportunities. So, yeah.
It's the stay ready so you don't have to get ready moniker that one Udonis has preached a lot throughout his career in Miami. One thing I want to ask, what was your favorite memory that you had this season with the Skyforce? If you were to single out one memory that you had, what was your favorite?
Okay. Man, I'll probably say we were playing RGV the second time on a back-to-back at home. And they were all like so many memories that I can think of, but this particular one, it started with me really struggling, and I was in a slump like for a good half a month. I couldn't see the basket, like I couldn't make a shot. But I remember this game, Sid played me, and I was coming off a third DNP. So I'm already like in the gutter, like I'm not even like thinking about going in. But once he called my name, I'm like, I gotta be ready. So I go in and I play, a little bit of the first half. This is when we first got Josh Christopher. I think Cole was down with us. Orlando was down with us. And we still had Justin and Bouye and Man. They were all E10s at the time too. So I didn't even think I was gonna play that game. But he threw me in. I'm looking real solid on defense. I'm talking, I'm being engaged, but my shot just not falling. I think I was like 0 for 4 from 3 the first half. Right? Couldn't even see the basket. I think my first shot attempt was like an air ball or somebody blocked it. I can't even remember. So like my confidence on offense wasn't there, but defensively, like I'm getting it done. My plus minus is going crazy. It looks very good. So I'm impacting winning. I'm just not making no shots. So I think second half, Jamari Bouye pulled me to the side and was like, "Can I curse?"
Sure.
Like, shoot that shit with confidence. We're gonna keep coming to you, knock it down. We trust in you, we believe in you. I said, bet. Cool. I think the first shot I shot was a wild 3. It was a 3 I work on it, in my off day. It rimmed in and rimmed out. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I saw it go in, it just went back out. But I'm not counting in my head. I just feel good out there, and I don't even care how many points I have. And then Sid pulled me to the side and was like, "That's a good shot. Keep shooting." I said, "Okay." But I feel good now. Like everybody's still positive, and keep in mind we're losing this game by a good 10 points. So like I think they know when I make a shot, it's like a microwave effect. Like I'm gonna keep making shots. I can heat up very quickly. So I remember how I started was I think it was Orlando or Malik that, dropped off a pass to me, or Justin dropped off a dump off pass to me on a baseline. Got it blocked again, but I got it back, laid it up, a layup. Next play, Sib drove up a play for Bouye. I screen for him, cut to the basket. I get an open dime for another layup. Next thing you know, them threes I wasn't hitting in the first half where I was wide open, I made them in the second half. And they kept coming to me, kept finding me across the court. And before you know it, we up by 10 with 2 minutes left. I got like 20, like 24 and 4. My teammates kept looking for me. They kept believing in me. They kept encouraging me to shoot. And I think that moment was probably the greatest moment of last year, because it showed how we can all come together and lift up one another for real, for real. And like in that moment, I felt kind of empowered, not because I had 20, but because what I seen my teammates do and how they kept making me practically shoot the ball, but encouraging me to shoot it and keeping that confidence in me. So I think that proves to the type of teammates, that proves to show them what type of teammates they are, what type of program that we are. So that'd be the greatest moment last year for me.
Yeah, I love the part where you're like, I basically made it. Like it went halfway in. That is the most like shooter thing I've ever heard. Like, yeah, it was basically in. That counts in my mind as a make. I shot it pretty well. And like it is funny how things like that can spark your confidence, and then you get 2 layups, and then next thing you know, you're hitting everything. It just takes one little play. So that's like important to like the listeners if if they're playing high school, college, professional basketball, even if it's your teammates, you can see a firsthand example of how like Bouye pulling you aside and being like, "Hey, shoot," and then coach pulling you aside and be like, "Hey, good shot, keep shooting." Like that's understanding. A lot of people want to tear down their teammates, be like, "Oh, that was terrible. Like you're not making anything. Stop shooting." Like we see that on Twitter while we're talking about games, Heat games or Skyforce games. People are like, "Oh, he hasn't made a shot. He needs to stop shooting." But no, like if you have it in you, you got to trust your process, right? And keep shooting. And your coaches understand that, and your teammates understand that. So I think that's also, like you said, a perfect example of the type of team the Skyforce are, and it goes together with you're all real close. You said off the court and everything. I think that all goes together. You'll understand what's best for each other.
For sure. I agree with you.
So we're like projecting to next year, right? Because it's the off season. What are your goals for next year?
I think my goals would be I gotta get a championship. Whatever team we have coming back, I think I'm gonna need that chip, because we lost to OKC and they ended up winning it, and I was sick. I was kind of upset, but I was also like happy for them too, because like they had a rough year and they just pulled together and battled through the toughest moments and got the win. So no slight to them, but I am kind of sick that we lost. But I would say the most important thing is a championship. For myself, I would say being the best teammate that I can be, being the best locker room guy, being the best brother to my guys that I can be, and also individually, I want to shoot maybe 45% from 3, 50 from the field. Maybe 6 to 8 rebounds a game, and just really be the glue guy for the team that we need. So points, I know points are going to come here and there. I can score them in a boatload, but I think the most important thing would be keeping the main thing, and that's just defending and rebounding, honestly. I know I can go out there and get 20 a game if I wanted to, but also doing those other things that lays the foundation for what we do. I think if I'm setting that standard every single day, I think others will follow and others will want to be a part of it. So yeah, I would say those would be my goals for next year.
And then what would you tell, in closing, the last question here, what would you tell your like self at the beginning of the season?
I would tell myself it's a marathon. Don't get hung up on, a bad game. Don't get too hung up on a really good game, because you got 50-something games this year in a year. You can't get too high or too low. Just got to stay an even kill and keep chipping away every single day. Keep stacking good ones, taking the bad ones with what they come with, learn from it, and have a short memory.
Yeah, I love it. We're excited for next year and what everything's going to come over the summer. And once again, we just really want to thank you for joining our podcast here, our show. And, allowing us to ask you a bunch of questions and interrogate you on, not only the Skyforce, but, on just some fun things about your life. So thank you for that.
Nah, thank y'all for having me, man. For real. I enjoyed it.
Good. And so where can people find you?
Like my socials or?
Yeah, on your socials.
Caleb C. Daniels on Instagram, and on Twitter, I should be C_CD21.
Awesome. So we'll be sure to obviously tag all those whenever we post it so people can easily find you. And who wouldn't want to follow the Skyforce's next, NBA call up right here, Caleb Daniels.
I appreciate that, man. It's in God's hands, man.
All right. So that's it for us today. So thank you all for listening. Let's go Skyforce.
Yes, sir.